Oh, oh, tab, 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 peace, 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 peace. Tab, dua, tab.
Okay. So so we'll continue with the discourse on the teaching of Ab to his student Porphyry. And indeed, in a student uh, teacher relationship, it can the student can experience the teacher as sort of a father, but a father with great wisdom. So we'll continue. Because, however, he transcends all things and is by himself expanded above them. On this account, he presents himself to the view as separate, exempt, elevated, and expanded by himself above the powers and elements of the world. And we discussed this last week about the transcendental nature of the transcendent and how uh, from a non-dual perspective, the the essence of spirit is the support of things manifest. And things manifest through an act of cognition, thinking. And the text says this and alludes to this, especially in Memphite theology. In ancient Egyptian mystic religion, and by religion we mean the full program of religion, as Dr. Martha Ashby states it, the full program of religion with myth, ritual, and mysticism. So not religion in the ordinary context of what people know of a religion, but religion from the perspective of its Latin religio, to relink to divine, make union with the divine, which comes through in the Hindu Sanskrit term yoga, which is expressed in the Kemetic term of simatali or smaitali, either one sima or sma. You have, and so in the ancient Egyptian mystical religion, you have four theologies. Primary, you have Anunian theology, which is its emphasis is on the divinity Ra. You have Wasatian theology, which emphasis is around the god Amun. You have Memphite theology, with its emphasis around the god Ptah and their partners and their sons. And then you have the goddess tradition. In Memphite theology, which is expressed on the Shabaka stone, what is referred to as a Shabaka stone, illustrates this idea of the creation of the universe by mind and sound. The words come out of the pronouncement comes out of the mouth, the divine, and the sound hits the teeth and vibrates, and that's what constitutes creation. But creation also occurs from the mind, from an act of thinking, of thought. So the thought leads to the vibration that caused creation to come into existence. And investigations by modern science substantiates the relative nature of matter. So in any way, the transcendent is beyond what is appearing to the mind and senses. Because to organize creation, you need mind, you need an act of cognition. Like to organize your own life, you need the unconscious act of thought formation through the RE. So it's a similar way the divine constructs creation. And therefore, if creation by science is investigated with instruments, telescopes, microscopes, particle accelerators, physical instrumentation. But creation can also be examined with the mind. And if you gain certain insights into creation, you can do wonderful things like build pyramids, move stones that seemingly are immovable, or create structures that are seemingly impossible. But those things are possible through the investigation of creation of matter with the mind. And there's a lot more that can be said about that. It can be hours and hours of explaining that. So beyond all the elements of the world, so even beyond gravity, strong and weak magnetic forces, all of that is supported by the underlying consciousness. The cosmic mind, the mind of the divine. The following symbol likewise testifies the truth of this. For by the God sitting above the lotus, a transcendency and strength which by no means come into contact with the mire, are obscurely signify and also indicate this intellectual and Empyrean empire. So recall that Ab Amun started this out talking about the use, the purpose, and the importance of mystic symbols. And here he describes one of the mystic symbols, the god sitting above the lotus. So you find that Nefertem sits above the lotus. But you also have others, and there is one that goes directly to what he's talking about with the essence of spirit beyond time and space. And so I'll stop share and reshare and share the symbol with you. And this is an original photograph. So taken on one of my trips to Kemet, and this is in the temple of Heteru Atendra, in what is referred to as the crypt. And here you have this symbol outline represents it is the Aket symbol. And it represents the mountains and the horizon. So the horizon in between the mountains. And sitting in the center of the mountains is the sun, the rising sun. Sora. And in the center of the mountains is a lotus flower. And above the lotus flower is the eye of Peru, the eye of intuition. And the sun represents creator spirit consciousness. So the eye of intuition of the nature of spirit consciousness rises above duality, is essentially above and separate from duality, and doesn't come down in the valley, in the murky waters of delusion and misapprehension and confusion about duality. The lotus represents the sweetness of spirit consciousness realized. What is nefer, the beauty of that spirit consciousness realized. And the eye represents the intuitional wisdom experience of spirit consciousness, so knowing without thinking. And this is an emblem of something that can actually happen within the heart of every human being. If the human being takes on the mystic program that leads to spiritual realization, which consists of four main yoga principles, or principles of mystic yoga. That's devotion, meditation, right action, and wisdom. So Uashu, Ua, Ma'at Ari, and Rek. you combine those and you essentially blend them into a mystic program under proper guidance. And it leads the spiritual practitioner to mystic union with the transcendent, that which is beyond all the energies of the world, as Ab Amon is explaining. And if you were to meditate, firstly reflect and meditate the principles of this on the principles of this symbol within yourself, and then actualize it, that you would be an awakened being. You'll be Nahas. So we're going to stop screen and then go back to the text. So a transcendency and strength, but by strength means a power, a power that transcends. You can explode 100,000 atomic bombs all at once, and it still will not even come an inch close to a millimeter close to the power of the transcendent divine. And so, and that's why these people, enlightened beings, that's why they're essentially dynamic, powerful people. So when you look at the Temple of Abu Simbel, you might say, oh, that's egoism, because of the large statues in the facade that looks over the water. But that would be a misreading. It's actually an expression of divine power that only the person who isn't experiencing it can know what that is. You have to experience it to know it. And then it percolates into great works of what is referred to as art or literature that relates to the power and the realization that is being experienced. So for a person who is impure, it looks egoistic. A person who has their, metaphorically, their eye of intuition seated in the center of spirit consciousness, sitting on the lotus, rising above the mire. It's normal. It's an expression of that divine power. And therefore, that's why, another reason why sages are, they can be introverted, they can be reclusive. You don't have to be going out because they're being nurtured by a spirit consciousness that they have discovered as the essence of the nature of self. And so we'll talk more about this next week. So dua everyone for joining, and dua Sunu Satnahas for the wonderful devotion. Until we meet again. Attack.